I want you to think about the favorite piece of furniture in your house. It is probably located right in front of the television. It is plush, it is soft, and it invites you in. Maybe it is leather, maybe it is fabric. It has a lever on the side or a button you press. When you sit in it, you sink down. The footrest pops up, you lean back, and for a moment, the world feels perfect. The pressure is off your feet. The strain is off your back. It feels like a warm hug. We call it the recliner. For millions of Americans over the age of 60, the recliner is not just a chair, it is a throne. It is where you read the paper, watch the news, take your afternoon nap, and perhaps even spend your nights if you struggle with sleep apnea or acid reflux. You view this chair as your sanctuary of comfort. But I am here to have a very difficult, very necessary conversation with you about that chair. I am here to tell you that this sanctuary is actually a trap. That feeling of sinking in is actually the feeling of your skeletal structure collapsing. While you are relaxing, your body is being molded into a shape that is hostile to human movement. We call it the C-shaped spine. And the price you pay for those hours of comfort is the destruction of your hips, the permanent shortening of your vital walking muscles, and the development of that stooped, shuffling posture that we associate with frailty. The recliner is stealing your ability to stand up straight. It is stealing your stride. Today, we are going to deconstruct the mechanics of the Barcalounger syndrome. We are going to look at the anatomy of the hip flexors, the psoas muscles, and explain why sitting in a bucket seat effectively puts your hips in a cast. We are going to discuss why you can't walk upright after getting out of the chair, and most importantly, I am going to teach you how to hack your recliner to make it safe, and the specific anti-chair movements you must do to reverse the damage. By the end of this video, you will understand that comfort has a cost, but you can avoid paying it with your mobility. To understand why the recliner is a villain in disguise, we have to look at the geometry of the human body. Your spine is designed to be an S shape. When you stand tall, you have a curve in your neck going in, a curve in your upper back going out, and a curve in your lower back going in. This S shape is a spring. It absorbs shock. It balances your heavy head over your hips. It is efficient. Now, look at the shape of your recliner. Most recliners are designed as bucket seats. The seat pan, the part you sit on, is not flat. It dips down in the back and rises up in the front under your knees. When you sit in it, your hips sink lower than your knees. This is the first geometric failure. When your knees are higher than your hips, your pelvis is forced to tuck under. It rolls backward. This is called a posterior pelvic tilt. When your pelvis rolls back, the natural inward curve of your lower back, the lumbar lordosis, is obliterated. It is pushed outward. Your spine goes from an S to a C. You become a giant letter C. Your head is pushed forward, your shoulders round forward, and your lower back rounds out. You might think, well, it feels supported because the cushion is touching my back. But there is a difference between supported and collapsed. The chair is filling the gap created by your collapsed spine. You are spending hours in a position of flexion. Now, let's talk about the hips. This is where the real damage happens. There is a muscle deep inside your body called the iliopsoas. We usually just call it the psoas. It connects your lower spine to the top of your thigh bone. It is the primary connector between your torso and your legs. Its job is to lift your leg, like when you are marching. When you are standing, this muscle is long and stretched out. When you sit, this muscle shortens. When you sit in a recliner, because of that bucket shape and the footrest lifting your legs, your hips are in a state of deep, chronic flexion. The psoas muscle is in its shortest possible position. It is bunched up. Imagine holding a rubber band slack for 4 hours. Now, imagine that rubber band is living tissue. If you hold a muscle in a shortened position for hours a day, every day, for 10 years, it adapts. It physically gets shorter. It loses its elasticity. It becomes stiff and fibrotic. It essentially freezes in that short position. So, the movie ends. You try to stand up. You push yourself out of the chair. Your brain tells your hips to straighten out so you can stand tall. But the psoas muscle says, no. It is too short. It acts like a tight leash tethering your spine to your thigh. It physically prevents your hips from extending fully. So, what happens? You cannot stand up straight. You are forced to stand with your hips slightly bent and your torso leaning forward. You have to wait a minute, rub your back, and shuffle a few steps before you can fully unkink yourself. That, getting going, stiffness is not just arthritis, it is the mechanical result of your chair. This creates the old man walk or the old lady shuffle. Because your hips can't extend, they can't go behind you, you can't take a long stride. You can only take short, choppy steps. Because you can't take a long stride, you don't use your glutes, your butt muscles. Your glutes are the powerhouse of walking, but they only turn on when the leg goes back. If your tight hip flexors prevent the leg from going back, the glutes go to sleep. We call this gluteal amnesia. Your butt forgets how to work. When your glutes stop working, your lower back has to take over the job of keeping you upright. This is why you have back pain when you walk. Your lower back is doing a job it wasn't designed for because your hips are locked in a prison created by your recliner. It is a domino effect. The chair breaks the hips break the weak glutes break the back. And it all starts with that feeling of comfort. We also need to talk about the neck. When your spine is in a C shape, your head naturally wants to look at the ceiling. But you want to watch TV. So, you have to crane your neck forward to look straight ahead. This creates forward head posture. For every inch your head moves forward, it adds 10 pounds of leverage to the muscles of your neck. If you fall asleep in the recliner with your chin tucked to your chest, you are compressing the airway, making sleep apnea worse, and straining the ligaments of the cervical spine. You wake up with a headache and a stiff neck, blaming the pillow, when you should be blaming the chair. Let's discuss the getting stuck phenomenon. Recliners are notoriously hard to get out of. Because they are soft, you sink in. Because they are deep, your center of gravity is far back. To stand up, you have to generate massive momentum to rock yourself forward. You have to heave-ho. This rocking motion puts incredible shear force on your knees. Many seniors injure their knees not by walking, but by trying to launch themselves out of a soft, deep sofa or recliner. If you have weak legs, the recliner becomes a trap. You stay in it longer simply because it is an effort to leave. This leads to a sedentary lifestyle, which is the ultimate enemy of health. There is also a vascular and digestive component to the C shape. Think about your abdomen. It contains your stomach, your intestines, your liver. When you sit hunched over in a C, you are physically compressing your abdominal cavity. You are squashing your organs. This slows down digestion. It contributes to constipation, bloating, and heartburn. If you have acid reflux and you sleep in a recliner to keep the acid down, you might be helping the acid but hurting the digestion by compressing the stomach. And circulation. When you sit with your hips bent at a sharp angle for hours, you are kinking the femoral artery and the femoral vein. It is like putting a kink in a garden hose. Blood flow slows down. This contributes to ankle swelling, edema, and increases the risk of deep vein thrombosis, blood clots, and varicose veins. Even though your feet are up on the footrest, if the angle at the hip is tight, the flow is restricted. So, does this mean you have to throw the chair away? I know that is not realistic. You love the chair. It was expensive. It is your spot. I am not telling you to burn it. I am telling you that you need to modify it and change how you use it. You need to turn your recliner from a trap into a tool. Here is the recliner rehab protocol. First, we need to fix the sinkhole. The problem is the bucket seat. You need to flatten the surface. You can buy a firm foam cushion or a wedge cushion to place on the seat. You want to raise your hips so that they are level with, or ideally slightly higher than, your knees. This opens the hip angle. It stops the pelvis from rolling backward. It restores the lumbar curve. If the cushion is firm, it also makes it much easier to stand up because you aren't fighting gravity from a deep hole. Second, we need to fix the lumbar support. The soft back of a recliner allows your spine to round. You need to fill that void. Take a small throw pillow, or roll up a towel into a cylinder. Place it horizontally behind your lower back, right at the belt line. When you lean back, this towel should press gently into your spine, encouraging the natural S-curve. It prevents you from collapsing into the C. You should feel your chest open up and your shoulders drop back. Third, verify the head position. If the headrest pushes your head forward, it is too fluffy. You might need to remove some stuffing if there is a zipper, or use a neck pillow that supports the curve of the neck rather than pushing the skull forward. Now, let's talk about the rules of engagement for using the chair. The most dangerous thing about the recliner is the duration. Time is the enemy. Tissue creep, the deformation of your muscles, happens over time. Rule number 1, the 30-minute rule. You should not sit in a chair for more than 30 minutes at a time without getting up. You don't have to go for a run. Just stand up. Walk to the kitchen. Walk a circle around the living room. Reset your hips. Remind your psoas muscle how to be long. This interruption breaks the cycle of shortening. Rule number 2, active sitting. Do not be a statue. While you are watching TV, fidget. Squeeze your glutes. Extend your legs. Roll your ankles. Keep the blood moving. Rule number 3, the anti-recliner stretch. Every time you get out of the chair, you must pay a tax. You must do one stretch to counteract the flexion. The best one is the standing hip extension. Stand up. Hold on to the back of a sturdy dining chair or the kitchen counter. Place one foot behind you. Keep your knee straight. Squeeze your buttock on that side and gently push your hips forward. You should feel a stretch in the front of your hip and thigh. Hold for 10 seconds. Switch legs. This manually lengthens the muscle you just spent 30 minutes shortening. It tells your body, we are not staying in the C shape. I want to address the sleeping in the chair issue specifically. I know many of you do this. Maybe you had shoulder surgery, maybe you can't breathe flat. If you must sleep in a recliner, it is vital that you treat your mornings differently. You have spent 8 hours in flexion. You cannot just jump up and start your day. You need a unfolding routine. When you wake up, spend 5 minutes lying completely flat on a bed or the floor, if you can get down and up safely. Lying flat allows gravity to passively straighten your spine and hips. It hits the reset button. If you can't lie flat, do the standing hip stretches immediately. You have to undo the night's damage before you load your spine with the day's activities. Let's talk about the zero-gravity chairs. You see these advertised as the ultimate healthy chair. They tilt you back so your feet are above your heart. They are great for swelling and back pressure relief temporarily. But the same rules apply. You are still in a flexed hip position. Use them for relief, but do not live in them. We need to redefine what comfort means. We have confused soft with comfortable. A cloud soft chair feels good for 5 minutes, but it offers no support. True comfort is support. True comfort is a chair that fits your body, keeps your feet flat on the floor, when not reclined, keeps your knees at 90 degrees, and keeps your spine stacked. A firm chair with a good backrest is infinitely better for your long-term pain levels than a mushy recliner. Consider the rocking chair. The old-fashioned wooden rocking chair was actually a genius invention for seniors. It has a firm back. It keeps you upright. But the rocking motion engages your core, keeps your calves moving, and stimulates the vestibular system, balance, in your inner ear. If you have a choice between a static recliner and a rocker, the rocker is the healthier choice for your physiology. Let's look at the connection to falls again. This is the most serious consequence. When you stand up from a recliner with tight hips and weak glutes, your center of gravity is off. You are leaning forward. If you trip, you don't have the muscle power to pull yourself back upright. You go down. By modifying your chair habits, you are essentially fall-proofing your body from the inside out. You are keeping your center of gravity over your feet, where it belongs. I want you to perform a test. The sit to stand test. Sit in your recliner. Try to stand up without using your hands to push off the armrests. Cross your arms over your chest. Can you do it? If you cannot, your chair is too low, too soft, or your legs are too weak. This is a warning sign. You need to raise the seat height, add a cushion, or start practicing squats immediately. You should be able to propel yourself out of your chair with leg power alone. If you rely on your arms, you are one shoulder injury away from being stuck in that chair forever. There is a psychological aspect to the recliner. It represents retirement. It represents the end of work. I've worked hard, I deserve to sit. Yes, you do. But you deserve to sit in a way that doesn't rob you of your ability to play. You deserve to enjoy your retirement hiking, traveling, and walking, not being trapped in a C shape. The chair should be a recharging station, not a parking garage. Let's visualize a new living room setup. Instead of the recliner being the center of the universe, maybe create a movement corner. Have a yoga mat or a space where you can stretch while watching TV. Use a stability ball for 10 minutes a day to sit on, it forces you to balance. Sit on the floor sometimes, if you can. The more variety you give your body, the younger it stays. The body molds to the shape it is in most often. If you are always in the shape of a chair, you become the shape of a chair. If you vary your positions, you stay adaptable. I want to mention the fabric too. Leather recliners are slippery. This causes you to slouch even more as you slide down. Fabric holds you in place better. If you have leather, use a non-slip cover or a blanket to provide friction so you can maintain that upright posture. This is about taking control of your environment. Your home should serve your health. If your furniture is hurting you, modify it. So, here is your action plan for today. Inspect the chair, look at the seat. Is it a bucket? Is it sagging? The pillow hack, get a towel. Roll it up. Put it behind your lower back. Feel the difference immediately. The leveling, if you sink in too deep, put a firm cushion or a folded blanket on the seat to raise you up. The timer, set a timer on your phone for 30 minutes. When it beeps, get up. No excuses. The stretch, extend those hips. Push them forward. Feel the front of your thighs release. It might feel annoying at first to get up so often. It might feel less relaxing to have a towel in your back. But give it 1 week. Just 1 week. You will notice that when you stand up, you don't groan. You don't have to wait for your back to straighten out. You can walk straight to the kitchen. You will realize that the stiffness of age was actually the stiffness of the chair. You have the power to change your posture. You are not stuck in the C shape. You can unfold. You can stand tall. But you have to be smarter than your furniture. Thank you for listening. This is practical, everyday wisdom that can save your spine. Share this with your spouse, your friends, anyone who loves their lazy boy a little too much. Help them hack their chair and save their hips. Stay upright, stay mobile, and keep moving.